Good evening, everyone. It is DP with Alpha Traders. Happy you can be here. We can go over some futures, some names as we look towards the week. Hopefully, we got the microphone issue fixed. A lot of people were saying they couldn't hear, so hopefully you can hear just fine now. And let's dive into it. Don't forget alphatraders.com. Become a member. Life changing. We've had life changing accounts. It's been beautiful to watch. Last week had a tough week. I think it was a tough week for a lot of people. Anybody who said they got everything right the whole time is absolutely wrong. The way those movements moved, it was tough for anybody that was in it. But looking forward, it looks like there's some opportunity here with some key levels, and we'll see what we can do. Don't forget to like, retweet, at Alpha Traders Inc. on YouTube and Twitter. Happy to have everybody. So let's dive into it here. So I'm starting with the weekly here on ES because I think it's super important where we're at. As we get, if you look at it from a chart perspective, this is kind of your line right here, the 44.44 area if you're a charter, which obviously charts are great visuals. You can get a good idea of where price action is going and whatnot. I have an order flow pivot of 44.46, so it's pretty close to where it would be. So that being context, that gives me a pretty good idea here where we want to be at. Let's make this full screen for everybody. Where we want to be at. So we're saying we since we're on the top side of this at 44.54, I think we're down 28 handles right now, but it's sitting on support. It's going to have to gap down for me to feel super bearish. But under 44.44 or 44.46, I'll take 44.44 because a lot of people use the chart. Then we're looking at most likely we're going to go visit 4,400 for sure. I have 43.80, but if you're a EMA trader, you might look for this area right here. That's the 50-day, I believe, at 43.59, which is 43.60. I have 43.81 as my number. I'm up here, though. So we'll see where 43.81 obviously is here. This is kind of where my order flow is on the macro scale. It's kind of where I'm looking over here. So it would front run the EMA, which they like to do here because a lot of people trade SMAs, and sometimes the SMAs are a little further higher than the EMAs because of the weight. But if we lose 44.44 either tonight or tomorrow, I would highly expect our first stop to be here at 44.16. down to 4,400, which is the psych number, and then we'll probably get a bearish retest of that 44.44. Would not surprise me if we went down to 4,400 and then we popped a back above, had a daily close above, and then the next day we ran right back to 4,500, 45.17. Like, that would not surprise me at all. So I think this week for me, it's take your profits, don't be greedy. If you get a double, you get 30, 40%. Sometimes I have a bigger account than than some people. I'm not being braggadocious. I'm just saying, like, I have to manage it different than somebody who has like a $10,000 account. It's different, and it's not bad. It's not better. It's just different. And I think it's super important to understand that when you're under 25,000. I was saying that I didn't have a good day on Friday personally, but I budgeted 2% and I lost 1.5%, and I was okay with it because I did my homework ahead of time with my budgets and said where I was and where I wanted to go and what I was willing to lose and what I wasn't willing to lose. So that's super important this week, as if we lose this area, I'm definitely going to short it, probably with some volume. I'll probably put a good amount of puts in SPX. Also, I'll short ES on the weekly here. So this doesn't have to be today. Let's move off the 1 week here. Let's get into the daily because that's always fun and juicy, right? The daily. So daily was, if you were to look at the daily, you're like, oh, that's just normal, normal action. Okay. But this was not. It was pop, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop, drop, and now it's dropping, right? So again, this is pretty good support right here. I'll long this overnight. I'm actually going to put some bids while I'm sleeping. I know it's risky. I get it, people. I'm going to put them down at 44.44, 44.45, and 45.46. Because I do think that we're going to bounce off this line. I don't think there's going to be enough volume, and we're probably going to get right back to 44.82 by morning. I could be wrong, obviously, because at nighttime, they can do so much at night. It's easier during the day to see where they want to run some stops and where they want to, go back and mean regress, all that stuff. So I think those numbers are pretty good. 44.44 on the downside, 45.17 on the top side, obviously, because as you can see, it got over to 45.20, but I'm using 45.17. I thought about using 45.23 as my top side pivot, but I think 45.17 I think it's going to get a little bit tighter as we get in here before it drops some more back to probably, this area down here. So that's what we have this week. I'm using 44.64. 44.64 is right here. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of like the midpoint, right? It's a little. I have a bearish thesis, so that's why I didn't use a pure midpoint from 45.17 and 44.44. I think there was a huge battle. There was a lot of volume at 44.63 on Friday and on Thursday, so I think that's where they want to really push one side or the other when it comes to having a pivot and where their big boys are, playing those edges. So hopefully that helps. AlphaTraders.com. Love you guys. We'll be back with some more tonight.